Welcome to this week's SIIA Tech Chat. Joining me this week is Ken McElrath, founder and CEO of Skuid. Skuid is a cloud design and deploy platform that helps companies untie their data, apps, and processes to improve productivity and engagement. Ken, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Well, let's start right off. You founded Skuid in 2013. What was your inspiration for starting the company?
It was actually pain. I don't know if it was an inspiration. It was just we were dealing with a lot of pain in that we had built an education platform in the cloud. It was really the first one out there, but the user experience of that platform was very painful for people in the education industry. They love the functionality, but they said it's just not accessible to parents, to teachers, to educators. And we said, well, how are we going to solve this problem? And the fundamental problem was that we'd roll out this application, they'd love the functionality, but they'd want a essentially fit for purpose or made to order user interface or user experience that they could change on their own. And so after a year of developing this thing and even winning awards for it, they said, you need to change the UI or folks aren't going to use it. So build a gorgeous UI. And so we did. We built an award-winning user experience. We rolled that out to them, and they said, well, this is great, but can we add a tab here? Can we add some more fields to this page? Essentially, can we make it our own brands, our own special, unique brand of processes that we run within our entity? And we said, well, gosh, it's a catch-22, right? We can build gorgeous user interfaces that they can't customize on their own, or we can give them kind of a out-of-the-box standard UI that just feels too generic. So we kind of channeled our pain into a design thinking exercise and said, how do we solve this catch-22? And the result was to roll out drop-dead gorgeous applications that are totally personalized to every role and function, but can still be customized by the customer with just point and click and drag and drop. So that was the quote unquote inspiration.
So is that, what do you think is the biggest struggle of enterprise companies? Is it the ability to kind of roll out these apps quickly?
Yeah, I think at a larger scale, it's really about continuous innovation. So every business that we work with right now, whether it's an education organization or an oil and gas company or a financial services company, they all have the same issue, and that is that they need to outcompete everybody else in their industry. Whether they're all competing for customers, and customers want these personalized experiences. Their partners want those personalized experiences, and even inside the organization, they need greater engagement. And the only way that they can get there is to do it faster. They need greater agility, so that they can, instead of being out innovated, they can out innovate other people. And the problem with doing that is that if you use code to do it, it's very slow, it's very expensive, and you can't iterate fast enough. You can't keep up with the changes in your business fast enough. You certainly can't keep up with your competitors, many of whom have more funding than you do to create these killer applications. And so how do you do that? And so the only way that you can really do that is to eliminate code from the equation, or at least as much code as possible from the equation. Because when you do that, you can iterate very, very fast, and you can engage people very fast, and you can just continually innovate rather than seeing an app as an endpoint. An app is just step one, and then you can iterate again, and ultimately you're changing just as fast as your business changes.
I was fascinated by that, by your no-code approach. I'm wondering how do people react to that? I mean, I'm assuming it makes it a lot easier for them, so it's fantastic. But I bet most companies are kind of surprised by that approach.
I think they are. It's becoming more. People are more and more aware of it all the time. I think initially they're suspicious of it, and they feel like this. You're talking like magic. That can't really happen, right? but it actually can. And it's, I mean, I've been in the technology industry for over 35 years, kind of dates me, but this has been, for me, watching this evolve into this company has been a dream come true for me, because this is what I've really wanted all throughout my career, is this ability to not be hampered by this kind of cycle of stagnation, where you write requirements, push them over to a group of engineers who then take 18 months to deliver an application based on your requirements, only realize that the business has moved on between the time you gave them their requirements and they actually were able to deliver on them. And you don't really want that app anymore. You want something different. And so you're always behind. You can never seem to catch up. And the business typically knows exactly what they want. They just feel like the old process isn't working for them. They want to be able to, in a very agile way, push something out as a prototype, put it into production very quickly, get feedback, and then iterate very fast on it. And so, I mean, engineers, they're typically, suspicious, well, you can't really do that without code, can you? And I think the answer is, for the largest percentage of it, the answer is yes, you can. And so why write code for stuff that you really don't really want to write code for anyway? Why not abstract all of that away, so that if you're going to write code, you're only write the really tough problems, not all of the stuff on the front end that somebody in the business can, throw an app together in a matter of hours or days. Focus on the hard stuff and take that front end stuff and move it into the business. They're the ones who actually know what they need better than anybody, and they can see it right in front of them. It's not this writing stuff in text and hoping that engineers interpret it correctly. It's, no, I want this here and I want this here, and this is exactly what I want it to look like. And by the way, can I deploy this today? Right? That's what we're trying to enable. And I think when you think about application design, right, look at design and they immediately think fonts and colors and, how round are your corners going to be, right, on your buttons. That's not what we mean by design. What we mean by design is there's three different types. You got the traditional designers, which I would call user experience design. Those are the people who are creating experiences that just work, right? They look stupid simple. They're very easy to use. But then you've got two other kinds. There's design thinking, which occurs in the business. These are the problem solvers. They're the ones who see the pain and they think they know how to solve it, and they just want to very quickly assemble a solution to say, I think this could actually make this process much simpler and easier for my users. So they're problem solvers. And then there's the third kind of design, and that's the computational designers. Those are the real engineers. They know how to do transactions at scale. And the Skuid platform essentially enables all three of those types of design to collaborate in one platform, siloed into different organizations. They're all working together in the same platform and working extremely efficiently, much more quickly, so they can get apps out the door from 70 to 90% faster than they could. And it's this new paradigm of continuous iteration. It's not design up front, push something out in the back end and hope it meets the needs. It's no, we're going to respond in real time.
That's fantastic. Now you've experienced rapid growth since founding the company, and rapid growth is great, but it's not always easy. So I wanted to just kind of get your thoughts on, as the CEO, about with the culture of the company, how do you maintain kind of your core culture, your core mission, while putting yourself in a place to really drive that rapid growth? Yeah.
So, I mean, I personally believe that it's my job. It's the senior leader's job to create and to nurture the culture. I think that there's a big misconception as to what culture is, right? Many people equate culture with morale and vice versa. And I think that culture has to go a lot deeper than morale. Morale can change sometimes within the same day. You can be at the lowest low and you can be at the highest high in the same day, especially within a startup technology company like ours. But beneath all of that are values. And on top of those values are actions. And then on top of those actions, you actually are creating these artifacts in the culture. And when the values and the actions that emerge from those values and the artifacts are all in alignment, another way to say that is you have kind of this environment that everybody lives within. You've got relationships that work together within that environment, and then you've got these values again that kind of merge. And when there's a huge overlap between the environment and the values and the relationships, you have a very strong culture. So that requires me to interview differently. It requires every leader in our company to interview differently. And ultimately, at the end of the day, if you keep that as your top priority, as job one, culture can be the most significant differentiator for your company. Because, I mean, you think about getting, let's say you hired 5 of the top people in Silicon Valley to be on your leadership team. Every one of them has founded and scaled a company faster than everybody else. And you sit them in a room together, and they're all convinced that they're the expert, right? And so they don't listen to each other. And they can actually have a great idea for founding a fabulous business on a sensational product. But if they don't have the humility to listen to each other and to support one another and to let people actually speak into their lives and into what they're doing within the company, it'll all collapse. Even if they have a better product than the competitor. The competitor can have actually a mediocre product, but if they have culture where everybody is able to very clearly and succinctly communicate to one another, where they can fight fair with each other, where they can come to some sense of not necessarily consensus, but the ability to move forward based on the best available option, and really just submit themselves to each other, you can actually beat your competitors. And so obviously the best scenario there is have the best product and have a great culture. And when both of those things come together, you can just really move fast. So those are some of my thoughts about culture. It's
Well,
a vast subject.
Yeah, it seems to be working for you guys. So I think you're doing something right. Ken, thanks so much for joining us today. Congratulations on your rapid growth. For more information on Skuid, you can visit their website, and we'll see you back here next week.